Today, I am joined by the amazingly talented and inspiring Stacie Bono. Stacie is an incredible actress and singer. She has been a part of many incredible productions on stage and also has been a part of film and TV. She starred in The Flight Attendant, Sweeney Todd, Miss Saigon, and many more. Stacie made her Broadway debut in Parade and is currently starring in it, portraying the role of Sally Slaton. Thank you so much, Stacie, for joining me on The Inspiration Show. It's such an honor to speak with you.
Oh yeah, I'm so happy to be here.
Do I have your permission to post this episode of The Inspiration Show on social media?
Yeah, totally.
Thank you. So, when did you discover that you had a passion for singing and theater?
Well, I think I came out of the womb singing. And my mom was a musician herself. She was a composer and choral conductor. And so growing up, we had Les Mis and Phantom of the Opera playing in the house and in the car all the time. And I just realized I loved singing really dramatic things and expressing myself through music.
It's so special when you see people getting to express themselves through a different medium and like the melody and the lyrics and all the instruments, how it comes together to tell a story in a different way. It's so special.
Absolutely.
So, what would you say inspired you to become a performer, and who has been an inspiration of yours throughout your career?
Well, I think my inspiration in general has been how I have been affected through other people's performances, the catharsis I've had from the emotions people have made me felt. So for comedy, I grew up watching I Love Lucy. And so Lucille Ball was my icon as a comedian. And then for drama, Meryl Streep. And, I just wanted to be a chameleon like Meryl and be able to, I find acting to be a superpower at times when you can make people feel things or change their minds about something or make them grow. And so that's really Meryl's kind of the icon of that.
I love it. And I can completely relate to that. When you're standing on a stage and you hear people laugh at something you said, or like you get to make them cry. I mean, personally, I'm an actor that loves to make people cry. And then recently I did a project where I had to play this funny character and I heard people laughing at me. And it was the first time that I've made people laugh on stage. And it's just the greatest feeling in the world when you get to make people feel a certain way or think a certain way.
It's so true. And they're so different. There's such a gratifying feeling for both, to be able to make someone cry, that they're feeling something, you're touching something in them, and that feels very intimate. And then to make someone laugh is just another thing and a joy in itself. And yeah.
So can you take us back to the first time you experienced theater and how you were feeling at the time?
Well, to be honest, I don't remember my first theatrical show. I have a horrible memory. But I really like first came to theater through like albums, through soundtracks, and through performing theater in my living room, just, playing Javert in Les Mis. I don't know why I wanted to play Javert. My first audition song when I was like 8 years old was Stars. Like, I don't know why. Ask me. But yeah, I don't remember my first. So that's a horrible answer. But I don't remember my first show.
I love that answer. Do you remember the first show that like kind of made you fall in love with theater? Did you have one?
I think it was Les Mis. I think just listening to it in the car. I do know my first Broadway, seeing a show on Broadway was Ragtime.
I love Ragtime.
And that was pretty spectacular because it was the original cast. And yeah, I mean, it was just epic and made you feel all the things. Amazing.
Yeah. So you portrayed the role of Ellen on the national tour of Miss Saigon. What did you enjoy most about doing that show and touring with the show?
Well, what I love about touring is I love exploring new cities and just getting lost. I love walking around new places and discovering the cute little coffee shops and the cute little areas of town, and where's the waterfront, or where's the, but in Miss Saigon, Ellen's on stage only 20 minutes. It's a princess track, as what we like to call. And so outside of my 20 minutes on stage, which were very fulfilling, I loved listening to my Emily Bautista was our Kim, and she's absolutely incredible. And so I would just be in my dressing room and just listen to her and just be so enamored of her talent. So that was probably my favorite part of the show, just chilling in my dressing room when I wasn't on stage.
I love those memories that you make in dressing rooms. I feel like a lot of good memories in theater happen in the dressing rooms.
Seriously. And my dog was actually on tour with me, so she would be in there with me. Yeah, she'd be in there, sitting on her pillow, just looking at me. And yeah.
So you were also in a production of Sweeney Todd, and my favorite part is you met your husband while doing that production.
Yes.
So what was your experience like doing Sweeney Todd, and do you have any favorite memories?
Oh my gosh. So that Sweeney was the off-Broadway Sweeney. It was the immersive Sweeney. Incredible. Norm Lewis was our Sweeney Todd, and Carolee Carmelo was our Mrs. Lovett. And it was just the most incredible production. And my husband was the cover for Sweeney and the Judge, and I played the beggar woman and Pirelli. And my favorite part of that experience was the immersiveness, because we were so close with the audience. I mean, we'd be looking at people in their eyes, and you physically could scare people because you could pound on the table underneath them and they didn't know it was coming. Or, I would, as Pirelli, I would pass out on people in the fight, or as the beggar woman, I would beg from them. The absolutely most special moment of the show every night for me was to sing Joe My Jing as the beggar woman, because I would sing it to someone in the audience. And it was, again, just like this very intimate moment with, sometimes there were a lot of celebrities that came. So I did it to Rachel Weisz, and I did it to, a lot of, Julia Murney, and, it was just to like sing a lullaby and like find in their faces Joanna. It was just the most special moment. So I would say that's probably my favorite moment, but really the whole experience is my favorite theatrical experience to date.
I love it. And just immersive theater, it's so special when you get to have in theater you interact with the audience always, but to have those little more intimate kind of like feelings with the audience, there's no feeling like that.
Absolutely. And you always have to be present, because you don't know what they're going to do. So you've got to be, it's a wonderful lesson as an actor too.
So alongside from being an incredible actress on stage, you've also worked in film and TV. So what's your favorite part about film and TV? And in your opinion, what is the difference between film and theater? And is there a difference how you portray roles on screen and on stage?
Yeah, I would say my favorite thing about film and TV, to be honest, is watching it, because it's not my favorite thing. I much prefer theater. Film and TV, in my opinion, is an editor's medium, and you don't really have control over the final performance, because they can edit together takes, and you don't really have your hands on how it's going to proceed in the end. Whereas theater is very much an actor's medium. We get the final say on what the audience sees in the moment, right? But I would say how my performance changes, it's just, there's, in my experience, less opportunity for exploration, because it's fast and you have to stay like on a very tiny mark. And in theater, you have a larger boundary within to play. In film, it's just smaller. So everything is very contained, and it's, not a lot of body physicality. Yeah, those are the biggest differences, I'd say. Yeah.
As Shakespeare said, all the world's a stage, and film and TV, it's so special. But when you're on the theater, I mean, you have that gigantic space, and like, you don't have that as many takes as you need. You have okay, we're going in for it. One show, we have a 15-minute intermission, and that is it.
Exactly. Exactly.
So out of all the roles that you have stepped into, is there one that you feel best represents you? I love because I love
it. It's a great question. It's a really great question. I'd actually say Eliza Doolittle, because I was like a tomboy and scrapper and, not very refined. And I've had to kind of, for the industry, refine myself and all these things. But internally, I'm still that gutsy kid, and so I feel like I'm very Eliza.
I love it. And especially like with you, because you've done theater and film and TV, and you've played so many roles over the years. So to see the one that you feel like you best represent with, and actors, they always bring themselves into a character, but to see the one that they got to bring the most of themselves into, I think it makes it even more special when you go back and watch it.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you are currently making your Broadway debut in Parade, portraying the role of Sally Slaton. So Parade tells the true story of Leo and Lucille Frank, who were a Jewish couple living in Georgia when Leo was falsely accused of a crime he didn't commit. And the show teaches us lessons of humanity, faith, trust, love, and justice. So can you share with us a little bit about your Parade journey leading up to this point?
Yeah, I loved the show as a kid. I would listen to it in the car nonstop. I was obsessed with Carolee Carmello. Aren't we all? And so always had dreamed of being able to do the show someday, but it's rarely ever done. And when they were doing it at City Center, my agent called with the audition. It was just, on tape, and I jumped at the chance and was just so hoping, and then booked it from the tape, which was amazing. And the City Center production was so special because Jason Robert Brown conducted every show, and that house is amazing. It's the 2,600 seat house. It's very large and beautiful theater, and the cast is just incredible. So that was amazing. And then the Broadway transfer happened, and that's also amazing. And the cast is equally incredible. And it's extraordinarily special. What was the rest of the question? Sorry.
So just like, what was your journey leading up to this point?
Oh, just the journey. Yes. Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it.
I was so happy because I'm in Toronto, so I did
okay.
Opportunity to see it at City Center, and I'm seeing it this summer, and I'm so excited. I cannot wait to see it live because the show
coming
August 2nd.
Okay. Oh my gosh, right towards the end.
Yeah, right. I was gonna come closing night, and I was like, I want to come before, just so I can see you all, and
Yes.
closing night's a bit hectic, but
Yes.
I'm so excited because the show means so much to me. As a young Jewish girl and as an actor, it's such a special story, and I'm so happy being told on Broadway again by such incredible people and just such an incredible cast.
100%. 100%.
So when you were first given the script for this incredible piece of theater, how did you approach it and interpret this story and these characters, knowing that it was a true story and that these are real people?
Yeah, research. That's always, that's anytime you're portraying a real person, like that's the first thing I go to. And then outside of the historical research, it's the research within the play and what our beautiful, incredible playwright Alfred Urey wrote for us, and just mining through all that and what that all means, what you say about yourself, what other people say about you, what your stage directions and your actions are, and what that says about you. And so that's how I always approach a role. And then the added research when it's a historical role. Yeah.
So, after rehearsals and an incredible run at New York City Center and many incredible previews on Broadway, and now officially being open on Broadway, how does it make you feel to be telling the story? And what elements of the show have inspired you? And what positive messages have you taken away from Parade personally?
Yeah. Um, I'm extraordinarily honored to be telling the story and so proud of the show. I think the show has so much heart just as written, but the way Michael Arden has directed it is, it's just it's just high art. It's a masterpiece and it's absolutely beautiful. And it's how I like to see theater. I'm not like a bells and whistles, fancy fireworks kind of person. I'm like good actors, smart staging, smart stage craft. That's magic, you know. Um, to me, the thing that's most important about this show is that the old saying, if you don't learn from history, you're destined to repeat it. Mm-hmm. And so that's why this show is so important, because these things, these hateful ideas and everything are still pervasive in our society today. And we're seeing it. I mean, we saw it at our first preview. We're seeing it, you know, on January 6th, you know, people storming the Capitol. These things are still happening. And obviously the lesson's not being learned. And so that's why it's so important to be doing the show. And the most beautiful part of the show is the love story, the Leo Lucille story, and how love can transcend hate. And that's the goal with the show, is to express that message, to open people's minds. Hopefully at the end of the day, that's what we're doing. And I think we're doing a good job.
You guys are doing an amazing job. I'm so proud.
Thank you.
And I mean, it's just such a beautiful story. And, you know, for it to be told through this medium is even more special. And if we were to touch on everything that the show brings awareness to, I mean, we'd be here for hours. And, you know, for it to be told that way, I think it's so special. And it really conveys the message in such a beautiful way through song and through that story and through the relationship with all the characters.
Yeah, music always just enhances everything and just assists people with feeling what it is, right? And so we're so lucky that this has been written and built to be performed, and it's a gift, truly.
Gift, and such a beautiful and special show. So by being a part of this show every night with audience members coming from all over the world, what is the one lesson or message that you want people to take away from the show?
Well, I think what I said before about, you know, learning from history repeats itself, you know, hurt people, you know, and so the more we're cruel to people, the more we start wars or all this kind of stuff. It just, you know, then you create someone who's you know, jilted against someone else, and then someone becomes a scapegoat, and you know, it's a vicious cycle. But I mean, the biggest thing we hope people take away is just the expression of love, and let's hold on to love. Let's treat people with love, everyone, no matter the difference. That's really the hope.
Yeah, like it said, all we need is love, right?
Exactly.
Well, the cast album for Parade has been recorded and will be released March 23rd. I'm so excited.
Yes.
What was your experience like being in the studio recording these beautiful songs and getting to be a part of an original Broadway cast album?
Oh my gosh, it was so fun. It was just fabulous. And I'm so excited to hear it, because we you know, we were only called for when the songs we were in, so we didn't get to hear a lot of the Leo Lucille stuff, and we didn't get to hear all of at least I didn't get to hear all of Alex's songs, who plays Jim Conley. And so I'm excited to hear everyone. It's going to be so fabulous. But also that studio, which is actually a block away from me, which is nice. That's where Hamilton recorded, and on the like Madonna recorded there. I mean, it's iconic. All the people that had walked those halls is really special.
That's incredibly special.
Yeah.
So, looking back on everything you have achieved in this industry, what advice would you give your younger self entering the industry?
I would say never stop learning, never stop taking class, never stop trying to grow. You know, you can always learn more. And I would also say, don't try to be what you think other people want you to be. Stay true to yourself, because that's the only way. You can't be anyone else, and you're only going to get anywhere from being uniquely you. And so when you try to be what you think they want, you're sunk.
Yep, be yourself because everyone else is already taken. And I think it's so special because, no matter if you're like the most famous person in the world or the best actor that you have out there, you can always keep learning and growing. And what I realized also from doing the show and getting to talk to so many actors, it really opened my eyes to see when you people step out onto the stage and they take a bow, you never know what training went into that bow and what their journey was like, no matter where they are. So to keep taking those bows and to keep learning and growing each performance that you do, because they do shows 8 times a week.
Yeah.
I can't imagine what it was like, starting the show and what it's going to be like ending it, because you learn so much about the
Yeah.
story, playing these characters, and you just excel more and more as you go.
Constantly grow. Absolutely.
Yeah. Stacie, thank you so much for joining me on the Inspiration Show. You are absolutely amazing, and it was such an honor to speak with you. Thank you for inspiring me.
Oh, thank you, Alison. It was so lovely to be here with you today.